What's going on, people? Welcome back to the match preview as we look ahead to the Southampton game after disappointing defeat against Everton. Palace are back on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff to face the Saints. And I'm joined by Patrick and Stan to talk all about the game. Gents, first and foremost, are we over it yet?
I'm over it. I'm moving on.
Yeah, I've moved on. It's what day is it today? I lose track. Wednesday, right? Yeah, I've moved on.
Well, we're recording this on Wednesday. It will be posted the day after.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm fine.
Yeah, look, I'm not over it. As we've been discussing before we started the show. And the reason why I'm not over it is because, one, I feel like it was a pathetic performance. Is even based on Vieira's comments after, even he was shocked by it. He said everything went wrong. And I haven't seen a Palace side under Vieira play this badly in a long time. We need to talk about maybe after the FA Cup semi-final, fair enough. Right. But this is a normal game. This is a game that we should be performing and winning. And we didn't win anything out of this game. And we will deserve losers. But how do we feel going into this game then? I'll start off with you, Stan, because you seem pretty positive pre-show. Are you still optimistic that we can now bounce back after that disappointing defeat?
I have faith in Patrick Vieira and in this group of players that they know that it wasn't a great performance, the last game, that it was terrible, and that they're going to turn it around. So, yeah, I'm staying positive.
Yeah, Patrick, we've never gone into spells of, well, I can't remember this season anyways, of like bad results back to back. We've faced some good opponents, but of course, these are opponents that we talked about all season long. We should be beaten. And Southampton's another game. It's not going to be easy, but you're at home. You're looking at ideally 3 points. You're looking at a bounce back. But Vieira is a manager that has done it in the past. He's gone through the highs and lows. So if someone wants to praise these players, it'll be him. But do you think the players will actually show themselves and turn up this weekend? Because last weekend, it just seemed like they weren't up for it.
Last weekend was very poor. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But we do have injuries. We were missing Decore. We haven't played this way against much better opposition. So I'm looking for a bounce back. I mean, it's not going to be easy. I'm looking at, just some positives. We don't usually play Southampton that well at home at all. The best we can get out of it in the last few has been draws. We haven't even beaten them in a while. Not at home, at least. We did beat them obviously away last year. But they're going to be tough. And I don't even rate them, but they're going to be tough. And they have your favorite player on their team who's annoying too. So that's going to be a problem.
James Ward-Prowse.
That's your favorite player.
Well, I like the battle between him and Wilf. I think it will be good, and we'll be talking about players later on down the show. But Stan, we talked about you're expecting a positive result. For me, honestly, I'm numb. That's the best way of describing it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say I'm optimistic. I'm positive for no reason. I am numb because that Everton game shocked me, and I'm still not over it. And another reason is because we've been too inconsistent, which is like you go beat Southampton, then we know what happens at away games. Until I'm proven wrong, I'm probably going to feel like this for a long time. But in terms of morale, how important is it that we get a good result from this game? Because, we'll be talking about the league table, but it's after a 3-0 defeat against Everton. If you don't get a good result against Southampton, the morale is going to be pretty low.
It's very important to get a good result from morale, I think. And, you've mentioned it. We've got 2 very difficult away games coming up. We've got to go to London Stadium. We've got to go to the City ground. Actually 3, because we've got to go away to Newcastle. And it doesn't look like we're taking any fans up there because there's a train strike day of the game. So unless people are driving up there, it's going to be, I think if we take 1,000 fans up there, it will be pretty impressive, to be honest, because it's a cup game. But we definitely need we need a bit of positivity and a bit of morale, and a bit of a morale boost, I would say. It's very, very important that these players show up and show us what they're all about.
So in terms of changes, Patrick, do you expect any changes going into this game? Of course, we know Decore should be coming and will be coming into the side. I'll be very shocked if he ain't. But after 3-0 defeat, and it's not just a 3-0 defeat for me, it's the performance that hurt me the most because I expect better from these Palace players in terms of actually wanting to win games. And I don't feel like they did. Some of the goals especially was too easy. But in terms of that performance and going into this game, do you think Vieira will make changes? Because he's not the type of manager so far he's been at Palace to make changes like that after defeats. But this was maybe an exception, you could say, because it was very poor from some of these individuals that he might do. Where do you see it going?
I'd love to see some changes. We spoke about, maybe the opportunity now to give Sam Johnson a run of game before the World Cup break and rest Guaita, maybe give Mitchell a break and maybe bring in Gyro at left back, or you want Tayo. I think it's a little early for Tayo to play. And in midfield, maybe bring in Hughes. If Hughes is over COVID and he's feeling healthy, maybe to get Hughes in there. Having said all of that, I don't see a lot of changes. I think he's going to go back probably the lineup we used against, I guess, the Wolves lineup. So I'm looking to probably see Lise in there, Decore. Was it Schlupp, Eze, and Decore in the midfield in that game? I can't remember this too. Yep. So I expect to see that again, honestly.
Did Schlupp start?
Against Wolves. I think he did against Wolves. I think he
did.
So I expect to see that with Wolf wide and Edouard obviously up front. It was Elise, right? It was Elise over Ayo. Ayo came back in for the last match, and then obviously start Guaita. Like you just said, D, the thing is he doesn't like to make changes. And if he feels like this is a way to make a statement to certain players and let them know how poorly he thought they played, I think we go back pretty much to the Wolves lineup and go from there.
Stan, in terms of, let's say there's the lack of changes, would you be too upset with that?
I don't think he has the depth to ring changes, like wholesale changes. I do agree with Patrick. I think they need to do something in that midfield, though, because Decore is playing for two people, right? He's picking up booking after booking after booking. The likelihood is that by the time we go to the World Cup, he's going to be on 3 bookings. Again, do you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous, right? Yep. And he could be on 4, maybe even 5 again by the end of the year. And I think if you pick up 10 bookings, it's 3 match ban, right? So they've got to do something. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. But if you get booked for cards, so if you get suspended
after 10 games, I think it's 2. I don't know if
it resets again, doesn't it? Doesn't it reset again at some point?
Yeah, but I don't know with the World Cup, how's that going to work? Because normally you would have played a few games between then. I don't know if that's changed or not. But hopefully he doesn't get yellow cards. Sorry.
But anyway, so I was saying, I think he's got to put some faith into Will Hughes, because I think I've seen him play before. He's not a bad player. He can do a job, and he'll give us something else that we've got there. Schlupp's been invisible the past few games when he's played. He's been invisible, and I quite like him. He's been a good servant for the club. He's come up with some important goals, but he has been invisible. Tyrick Mitchell, I don't know what has happened to the kid. I really, really don't. Since his injury, he's not been the same player. Vieira doesn't rate Gyro, so I think he's going to stick with how it is at the moment. But I think we will see maybe Ayew come out and Will Hughes come in. Is probably what I would.
Yeah, I think that makes sense as well. We need to have a bit more balance. But I think Vieira spoke about it after the Everton game. He talked about maybe we do have to change it about because he hasn't been working. And I do expect our next away game, 100% for there to be changes. But at home, we have been getting results. So I'm not too sure if we will make that many changes, because it seems like the only problem is starting slow. But we get into games at home and we managed to get a result. We got it against Leeds and we got it against Wolves as well. So it's a bit confusing because we lost 3-0 against Everton. You would expect a few more changes. Maybe Hughes comes into the balance it, but then we're playing at home. And at home, having all these attackers, it has worked. But saying that, sooner rather than later, we have to see a bit of Hughes. And I feel like this game could be it. And for me, he has to let go of his alliance with Jordan Ayew. I get it. He has done great this season. And he was needed at the start of the season. And I understand why he started, because of injuries. But now, if Hughes is fit and we've got a midfielder available that can play in that role, play him, please. Because we've reached a point now where we're playing a right wing at centre mid when we've got centre mid available. Just let him play. And if it doesn't work, fairs, cool. But he has to have some consistent minutes. We talked about with Edouard. Edouard needed some minutes and then he started scoring goals and getting assists. With Hughes, he might not be great against Southampton, but just let him play, man.
I think you'll be surprised, DR, is that if you do put a Hughes or even a Gyro in there, because Gyro can play centre mid as well, that it will give Decore the license to link the play even better. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I would see it. But listen, he's not one to make wholesale changes. He never has been. The only time he really changed it up was the blooming FA Cup semi-final when we got ripped a new one there as well. So
yeah, we overthought it, but exactly, I I'm just looking at Patrick for a reaction, but he didn't give me the reaction.
Nah.
But yeah, he did make changes against Chelsea and then pick up a semi-final. In this game, I don't think he needs to make that many changes. I think Hughes needs to come to the lineup and yeah, let the players prove themselves. But it's just more than this game for me anyways. Let them prove themselves over a long-term basis. Now let's look at the league table. So going into game week 13, Palace sit 13th in the Premier League. A win could bring us up to 8th. Of course, I'm not considering the goal difference, etc. I'm just looking at points. A draw could get us to 10th, and a defeat could get us all the way down to 17th. So, gents, when you're talking about how important this game is in terms of morale, this game is massively important because forget about just morale, but if we win 8th, from 8th to 17th, it is a massive, massive game. And it's a game that we cannot lose. I don't want to say it's a must-win game, but if you put the Everton game and if people talk about the league table as well, if we lose this game, it is not going to be nice. I know lots of people are going to be frustrated in the fan base. So for you guys, when I mention the 3 points can get us to 8th, a draw can get us to 10th, and a loss can get us to 17th, does that put a bit more emphasis in terms of how important this game is?
Yeah, I think that obviously Vieira, the players know where we are. I'm sure they're going to want to put that result right, D, from Everton. It was shocking. It was terrible. We are at home. We have the most comeback points in the league. We have 9. Southampton, I believe, have 8 come from behind wins this season. We haven't beaten them at home since Benteke scored 2 in 2016. We won 3-0. Obviously, players will be up for it, but you're right. I didn't realize. I do know this bottom of the table is very concertina. Everybody's very close together. You're right. 3 points could be massive. A loss could be not good. And again, going into those last 2 league matches and that cup game, you want to have a little bit of a buffer going into the World Cup. You clearly do. So it's clear that for me, with those last 3 matches that we have, minimum 4 points. Minimum 4 points. So start with the win now and try and get a point from either West Ham or Forest minimum, and I actually would like 2 wins before the break. And obviously, I'm putting all my hopes. I'm not gonna lie to you, I told you yesterday. I'm putting all my hopes into that Newcastle game. It's gonna be a very difficult game. I didn't like what Stan said with the fans. It's gonna be a major problem not having fans in that game. But we've got to win that game. So, but you're right, man. Saturday, 3 points is necessary and needed, and hopefully the players will understand that and bring it home.
Yeah. Stan, in terms of the 3 points, Patrick saying it's needed. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I feel like anything less than maybe a draw, we could get away with it. But then again, we've been waiting for this moment. Like we've been waiting for this. I get we haven't got our full squad, and you can make that argument. But if we're not picking up points at this stage, you don't want to go into the World Cup and talking about 17th or 16th place. That's not a nice position to go to. You want to go into the World Cup with a bit of buffer, but also a bit of momentum as well. And now, if you do lose this game, you're 17th, and then you look at the next game, it's going to become more pressure, must wins, etc. So I think it's very important, this game for us, and that's why I'm just waiting to see how the Palace players react.
Yeah, I think it's a very important game. I'm trying to stay positive in the fact that I think that there's the ability there to get the result, and obviously, like I said, they owe us as fans for that performance up at Everton because that was garbage. But yeah, like we need to put a couple of results together because we want to pull away from that, because it's really tight down there. You want to sort of pull away from that and just try and get on with it. And listen, Southampton are very similar to us, very, very similar. They're a streaky team. They win, they lose, they win, they lose. They're a very streaky team. So we just got to go out there and do what we do best. And they got some good players. I'm not saying we should fear them, but we should. They've beaten us at Selhurst before a few times. So yeah, let's go beat them, man.
So let's look at the last 5 games against Southampton head-to-head. Patrick spoke about it. So we got a win last time around away from home. There's a draw in there, a loss. Last time we beat them at home was 2020, so not too long ago. But look, as Stan said, Patrick. Yeah, as Stan said, Patrick, we're head-to-head against Southampton. We're pretty much similar size in terms of what we want to achieve, what type of players that we got. So
sorry.
Go on. You don't agree?
No, I didn't realize that. I forgot. I forgot about that Wilf goal. I really did. You're right. 2020. I thought 2016.
Erase that
I'll be
final
honest, I forgot.
Hodgson
Wait, how did
season.
we beat them last season?
Exactly.
I can't remember
No,
that.
you're right.
I can't remember
Say
how we beat
again?
them last season. I can't remember.
Remember we had
how
the late Wilf goal away. We beat them. Remember Wilf got a goal late. We beat them 2-1.
St Mary's, and then we drew with them at
The
Sellers.
2-2. Yeah, we came back from being 2-1 down. Brozier scored. I guess what was it?
So it's pretty much
the second one. Right.
Yeah, I think it's like head to head is tight.
It's
like there isn't one
tight.
side that just dominates the fixtures.
Right.
But in terms of their last 5 games, they've out the last 5 games they've only got 1 win. They're 3 games unbeaten going into this game, but the last game they drew against Arsenal, a very good side, and they could have beat them, so they're going to be coming off a high against that. They beat Bournemouth, drew against West Ham, lost against Man City, Everton. Now, Patrick, before the show, we were talking about it. Now, West Ham's not easy side. Bournemouth have been very good lately, and Arsenal top of the league. So it's not like they've got results against mediocre sides. They've got results against a few decent teams there coming into this game, and they're going to be up for this.
I mean, there's no doubt they'll be up for it. I mean, I'm not overly impressed with the results, but you're right. I mean, I give them loads of credit for the Arsenal point because that was a big point. I mean, I watched part of the game, they got a bit lucky because there was a lot of refereeing decisions that were kind of flaky. But no, I mean, it's not like they won 4 or 5 in a row. But again, it's not terrible form. I just think that we are home. Our home record is much better than our away record.
Yeah,
we did beat them. We did beat them last year away. There's a whole thing between Wilf and Ward-Prowse that happens every single match, it appears. And I think the crowd will be up for it. I mean, but you make a great point, man. The point is that the bottom half of that division is very tight, and a win will be massive. And we don't want to be going into games after this and having to win against West Ham or having to beat Forest, because that puts a lot of pressure on us, man. So this is a massive win. Point, okay, but 3 wins will be absolutely 3 points would be absolutely massive for us.
Yeah. So, Stan, in terms of who we're looking to perform, in terms of who we're looking to perform from that Everton game, you can say the whole side. But players in particular, for me, I'm picking out Wilf because I thought he should have a very good game against Seamus Coleman, and he was in his pocket. Let's be honest, he didn't do nothing all game long. And Tyreek Mitchell. But let's start off with Wilf. Is it a time he starts up front? Because if he can't beat Coleman as well, like he struggled out wide. How is he going to work? Because he always benefits him playing in central areas. Do you think this is a game where we start him in more central area?
I think what we've got to look at with Wilf is that he's himself said that he's not that much of a dribbler anymore. Look, and he's pushing 30. He's 30 or he's 29. Or, I can't remember his exact age.
30 in about 3 weeks, yeah.
There you go. So, your legs are going to go. I'm not saying his legs are gone, but he's not going to have the pace in his legs he had when he was 21 and he can just go and absolutely put people on the floor. I would 100% put him through the middle. 100%. Because he can cause them problems. Who plays centre-back for Southampton? I don't even know.
Oh, they got a menace there.
Right, Salisu and Kalete Carr play. Because Bella Kochap is injured. He's injured. Yeah, he's injured.
Is a Brazilian. What was the name?
Kalete Carr is the other centre half.
I don't know if that's the guy that I was thinking about, but yeah, they've got some decent defenders. Bella Kochap is out injured, but they've got a solid back line. Patrick, for you, look, we spoke about Wilf. We know that. Well, for me,
Lianco, you're talking about the right back. Lianco, you're talking
about. That's it. I think that's gonna. He doesn't feel like a right back. Like he's a big guy, and he's quite annoying as well. So when we're talking about Tyreek Mitchell now, we mentioned Zaha, how Stan wants him to play up front. Let's just see what happens. He hasn't performed out there in the last few games. Every time he's performed is through central areas. And if you can't do it against Coleman, then I don't know who you can do it against. But with Tyreek Mitchell, we've entered that territory now. He needs to perform. He really needs to perform sooner rather than later because it is not looking good. He was at fault, arguably, for another goal against Everton. And he's been on a highlight now for many Palace fans going into games because it's constantly just been quiet. Like it's not good enough.
Yeah, he had to put a performance in on Saturday. But here's the issue, D. We don't have an adequate backup. I mean, we did the Palace News show today, talked about Adam Arola. I don't think he's ready. You think if he's good enough, if he's old enough, he's good enough. He's only 18. It's a big shout to put him into the Southampton game. I like to see him on the bench. I like to see him on the bench for Saturday in case, but I don't think he's ready. Listen, man, Southampton play a 4-4-2 with, I guess it's Elyounoussis on that side going against we'll be going up against Mitchell. You got an interesting point. To play Wilf up front, the only way I think it works is that to do what we did against Wolves, which means to start in the normal 4-3-3. So, but we'd have Hughes, Decore, Eza in the middle. And then if it doesn't work out, you slide Eza out to the left, move Wolf up front to play a 4-4-2 along with Edouard. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You can't really start with a 4-4-2 because automatically you have Eza out of position. He doesn't really like to play wide. He wants to be in a position where he can dominate the game more and get involved more. So I like the idea of playing the 4-3-3, starting that way, let Wilf get that freedom to come and join in with Edouard more central. And then you can move out as a wide. But that also requires that Mitchell has to get more involved getting forward. He can't be a passenger. If he doesn't involve going forward, it doesn't work. So
yeah, look, for me, Wilf needs to perform. Hopefully it's out wide or through the center. He just needs to perform. I was so disappointed against Everton because that's a game where I was just looking at their fullback Coleman. Like, you should be having him. You've had him in the past, and I don't agree with you, Stan, in terms of he's coming to 30. He's lost a bit. He's got pace. Like, we've seen.
I'm not saying he's lost his pace, but he definitely has less of it than when he was 21. Mate. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. Of course, from when he's 21, but he's still good enough to play out wide. He just needs to perform. Like, I don't think any of his physical attributes have gone. Like, he's still there.
No, I think he's an excellent player, mate. I also think
to give him freedom. I think as well. I think that's what helps him. If he has a freedom from down the left hand side to come into the center, then it works like that. But if you just stick him there, you make it easier for opponents to target him as well. Because Za's down that side, just send free plays there, corner him there. But when he has the freedom, they can't pick him up like that.
I think also Eze and Elise, I thought Elise, like, I thought he was going to run Everton ragged, and he didn't, and he struggled to get in the game, and I know Vieira hooked him, and it was just what wasn't his greatest performance, and I thought Eze, they tried to link up the little 1-2s, etc., but it was just, it's terrible all around. But the two of them need to, mate. Mark Gay, what a bad performance from him on Saturday, mate. So. You've got to, that's another one that should be,
looking to perform. Yeah, I just picked up Wilf because it's been a few games now out wide. He hasn't been that great, but as you said, the team as a whole needs to perform. With Gahey, cool, you can include him there, and Elisa, etc. But that's like a one-off. Like, that was just a bad team performance, and they were part of that. Whereas Wilf and Mitchell, I don't know, man. Just playing this out wide thing. I
think you're being a bit harsh on Wilf, man. I think you're being a bit harsh on Wilf. I think he's picked it up a couple of times for us this season. Huh?
I'm not talking about this season, bro. I'm saying out wide.
I think he's still.
Name me a game where he's played good out wide, where he didn't come through center. Wolves, he scored a goal because he came through the center.
Brentford, he played out wide.
Yeah, Brentford, he played out wide. That's a good game. You could say that. Well, I don't think it was was it a good game or was it a magical goal?
Because no. I thought he played a good game. Was it a good game? Absolutely not. We should have won it. Anyway, looking at it, I just think, I think that I think he's still got it in him out wide, 100%.
Yeah, I just want to see it. I didn't say that. I'm just saying who am I looking to perform in this Palace team? Tyrick Mitchell and Wilfried Zaha. He was one of the worst players out there. I'm
gonna add one more. Michael Olise. We spoke today, D, about him being linked to AC Milan. With you, he played really well second half against Wolves. Did not play well last week. Hasn't started a lot of matches, but been inconsistent. If he's going to be starting, be on it from minute 1 to minute 90. Don't show up for me, middle of the first half, late second half. Sure, give me a whole 90 minutes. Give me an assist. Give me a goal. He hasn't scored this season yet. I think he has at least one assist, maybe two. I think
he's got 3 assists. He's got a couple of assists.
Right. But I need him to show up more. So
I agree. And you know what I will say with him is, like, you can see the talent is there.
100%.
But what is he? He's 19.
20 now.
20, I think.
He's 20. When Wilf was 20, he was ripping people to shreds. He's got Elise needs to come in and do that. I know he's not a carbon copy of Wilf, don't get me wrong, but I want to see that match-winning performance from Elise that we all know that he can bring. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
I
two
think the
assists.
whole
You're right,
team-
D.
Yeah.
Leeds and Wolves.
He's had
Yes,
2
two
assists. But yeah, with
Right.
Elise, and you can make the argument Edward wasn't that great as well against Everton. But I think in particular, I'm just looking at Wilf playing out wide because I was very disappointed of him in terms of what he done to James Coleman. But then again, they did target him a few times in terms of sending 2-3 players, and maybe that's the reason. That's the reason. I mean, but that then again means there's spaces in the other side of the pitch which we didn't exploit. Well, look, let's wrap this up.
Right.
We spoke about Everton. We spoke about Southampton and Palace. A bit about Everton as well. So we talked about confidence, score predictions. I'll start off with you, Stan. How do you see this one going?
I'm going for a 2-0 Palace win.
2-0. Okay, Patrick, are you remaining positive? Clean sheet at home? Easy win?
No, clean sheet, no. But I loved how people, I made that bold prediction last week about Everton 3-0, and everybody in the comments after were making fun of me about how can you say that, blah, blah. So because people are so negative, I'll be negative too. I'm going for a 0-0.
0-0. I was going for 1-0.
Okay.
1-0 or
Not
yeah.
or,
I don't
it's-
want to say it, but Southampton defeat is on my mind as well. But maybe I'm being a bit too negative. But that's how I'm feeling. I'm gonna go for
You're
1.
on Twitter too much, man. Stay off Twitter.
No, I'm not even on Twitter, bro. Trust me, I ain't even on Twitter. I don't remember the last time I tweeted. It's not even Twitter. It's just I think it's going to be a good game. It's not going to be easy. Don't
It's going to be
underestimate
a
Southampton.
difficult
Yeah,
game for sure.
and that's what I'm saying. And the way we played last game, and we're looking at this, maybe we're at home, we win. But I'm going for 1-0. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Of course, Everton game got mentioned. Hopefully, this is a time where we turn it around and build consistent performances because we haven't performed that much. Even though we got results, performances haven't been there. So I'm expecting a performance and a result. But of course, it's not going to be easy. Let us know if you have enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe to not miss out on future Palace content. Thanks to everyone who's watched it. Stan and Patrick also for joining me. And until next time, up.